Don't blink, kiss your blink. Welcome back to our show. Welcome back to the video. Guys are doing well because I'm having a wonderful day. So sorry about this. This phone doesn't have the batteries left to continue, so we had to take a break. Don't worry, we're still going to be doing a lot of the good place. We're charging the phone, so it doesn't take a long time. There's been a couple minutes, I would say like 20 minutes, with which I had a chat with Livy. Officially, I wish I could tell you the TikTok channel, but yeah, made me laugh a couple times. So congrats for making me laugh. You're a pearl, a gem, a sapphire, an emerald, whatever you want to be called. Okay, so now back with the good place. Now imagine if, because I didn't close the computer, there's no batteries left. Luckily, this is not the old computer. This is the old computer. So that's pretty much it. So we have the one and only Dak Shepard in the bad place, which is the boyfriend of Kristen Bell. I hate when they have to put in like, this is clearly like kind of nepotism. Now, how are the 4 people doing in hell? Shitty is supposed to be this master torturer, which is kind of cool because him always be so indecisive is torturing people, right? Is torturing people. So in itself is kind of nice. By the way, if you're watching the Tower Talk, we're gonna be changing the LabCoin discount. We're gonna be changing it for perk option. Unlock perks. I still need a little bit of dineros. And yep, that's not good. Okay, that's not a big deal. That is not a big deal. Okay, so Tahani, she name drop and she's annoying, so it works well. Jason ended up being the hero at the end of the day. You're gonna see why. And Eleanor is a pretty cool chick. Now the cool thing is, in this reality, Eleanor is also super attractive to Dax. I thought it was kind of cool. Janet was going around apologizing for being mean. She's being polite, right? So she get caught right away. However, turned out it's a freaking plan because at the end, she killed the bad Janet and she is there. And this is super cool because we'll talk about a good idea. So you kill. Okay, so technically speaking, right? What you do is you take a character that can just reborn and you just end its life. So why is that a good thing? Well, because there's no consequences. But however, there is consequences because she's in the same Janet. There's not the same experience that she has, right? So you're not killing a character, but you're killing the idea of a character, which is the Good Place whole trademark, which I kind of like. So yeah, so a bunch of sort that are not super interesting. Michael is. This is super cool because Michael realized that he's a superstar, and this is super cool because they're telling him how his neighborhood was a total success and they're gonna reproduce it. And it's kind of cool because this is Michael's dream, but then Michael in itself is morally better now. So he's like, okay, well, that was a shitty dream. This is no longer my dream. This is no longer my aspiration. And there's even better than that. What is better than that? Well, there's a couple of cases where, for example, right? The trajectory of Michael is my favorite characters because they're talking about how so they have a chance, okay? So this is spoiler, and then there's a near-death experience, and the near-death experience teaches these people that they need to be better. And then Michael's like, what if they were giving a little push to be a better person? Would they be a better person? Which means that everybody is, and this is really, 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 really powerful because the seed of this idea is planted in this episode. Michael is like giving the correct push, giving the correct life. They would be good people, and he's talking about how all of these people that are not deserving to be in the bad place are in the bad place and getting tortured. So it's not necessarily a completion of characters. He's not here saying like, oh my god, I've been torturing people and I feel bad about it. He's like, we've been torturing the wrong people and I feel bad about torturing the wrong people. If you need torturing, you still belong in torture. But if you don't deserve it, then you shouldn't be tortured. And this is moral quandary. Are you deserving of something bad happening to you? Do you do something bad? Or do you do something bad and nothing should happen to you? You understand? So it is kind of nice. And then later on, he's gonna be really in love with this ID, which is great, which is really really great. So they escape and they get caught. Basically, what happened is they lead, they lead. It's like I told you, they know that they're not in the bad place, so they follow Michael. And by following Michael, he leads them to the four people, and they're kind of stuck there. They're kind of stuck, right? So you got Sean that's that goes in, and they're escaping. Now this is the funny thing. Jason, he's like, well, fuck this. I'm gonna save everybody. So he does. He does a Molotov cocktail, and the Molotov cocktail is what saves everybody. So this is kind of cool because, again, is it the best thing that they ever written? No. Is it a cool thing because you kept on mentioning it? Yes. This is where Jason being dumb is pure luck. So they go in, and this is one of the craziest scenes because they follow everybody. And this is amazing. This, I swear to God. So, like I said, okay, so it's not really complex, to be honest. So if you look at the Good Place 3 days ago, I'm not sure I want to do the show anymore. I'm not having fun doing the show anymore. I'm not, it's complex. And then you follow along, and then you're like, yesterday I'm like, hey, the show is really good. And this is the moment the show became really, 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 really good. Is there. So Michael goes in, and he realized that he only picked up 3 pins. There's 4 people. And do you know what he says? He said, I finally found the answer to the trolley problem. You sacrifice yourself. So Michael, what he does is he sacrifices the one person, which is himself. He makes a sacrifice to save 4 people, which is on the other side. And he stays behind. So this is how it ends. This is how it ends. And here, Michael is an absolute hero. It's a super good episode. Season 2, episode 11. I'm really liking the show. I'm worried because the phone will get hot. And it's called The Burrito. So basically they end up seeing the judge, which is played by Maya. I'm gonna be honest here, I didn't know who Maya was. I dated this girl, Shay. She's super cool and super into comedy, which I absolutely adore. If you're watching this, Shay, what's up? And she was watching Murderville, and I was also watching Murderville. Now this is a lot of information, but we were sexting, and there was some picture that I sent, there's a picture that she sent, and on one of those pictures that she sent, I literally saw, oh my god, way too much information. This is because I drink energy drinks. I saw Murderville in the background. Yeah. And she was watching this Christmas special. And she told me that Maya was kind of the shit. Maya was super good. And I gotta say, Maya's super good. So talking to the Burrito, and it's kind of crazy because they're like, okay, well, this is a test. Are we not supposed to eat it? Are we supposed to eat it? Is the judge's test itself? It's just Maya in the background saying, hey, this is my burrito. So this episode is actually pretty good because it's the judge. Again, this episode is really, really good. Now, I will say The Good Place is pissing me off a little bit because first season was good, was really good, but it wasn't great. The ending of this first season was great. Season 2, good, not great, good. The ending is amazing. So this is kind of pissing me off because we got 2 more seasons to watch today in 12 hours. Yeah, I'm fucked. Oh well, Levy. So we got to the portal, and then we finally meet Maya, chapter 25, which is great. So then she's surprised. She's like, yo, I can't believe you guys came here. You're supposed to be back. So she says, well, without a proper judge, without the proper channel, I can't hear your case. And then the people are convincing her, please, we've changed so much. She's like, yeah, but I'm bored. Okay, let's do it. So what she does is she, and this is super cool. She doesn't ask questions. She makes them take a test. Shitty test is choosing between 2 hats. When the choice was obvious, he didn't have to choose. He never had to choose, right? Which is kind of the trolley problem in itself, in a weird way. We had Jason, who was supposed to play against his favorite team, which is basically helping people he doesn't like because it's the right thing to do. Then you got Tahani. Tahani, that's going through a corridor where there's a door, right? And Tahani is going to be listening to every single door they're talking about her, right? And then she does a wonderful job at not stopping, except for her parents, and they stopped. And this is really cool because I'm gonna spoil it right away. The lesson here is that no matter what she does, she was never gonna get the improvement. So the answer here is she didn't have to try to get their approval. She was never gonna get it, right? We got Eleanor. Eleanor is amazing. Eleanor is amazing because her test is basically her and Shitty survived. Now you guys remember, and this is why it's so important to pay attention to the show. But this is why the show is so good as a narrative. Her and Shitty save themselves, right? And he says, you know what? We can just leave. We can just leave. And at the same time, she cares about Jason. She cares about Tahani, but she is in love with Shitty. So Shitty being there is the one and only important thing. So she has the chance to go and just say like, okay, well, me and my boyfriend, we're gonna go out, and those two other people that we care about, we couldn't save them, but at least we save ourselves. But then she says no. Now the craziest thing is, Maya, which is the judge, will give them 4 tests, right? By the way, Maya is also in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, just saying. They'll give her 4 tests, and Eleanor is the only one that passes. And then she'll lie to everybody and said I didn't pass either because nobody passed. So this is kind of good. You see Maya, and it's super nice. It's super nice. Then they convinced her. First of all, super good. Michael and Sean, this is so good. And I want you guys to listen to this because this is fucking amazing. Michael, who talks to Sean, realizing that these people are completely different. Sean is a fucking monster. They have nothing in common, and he's actually closer to the humans. So I'm gonna show you this. Oh, guess what? I should possibly do this. Lab speed. We're gonna go with unlock perks because we do need it for a quest, and 2 hours 16 minutes, and we have 4 days left. Okay, that's not gonna be okay, but it's okay. So,
words of one of my actual friends,
you're basic.
It's a human insult. It's devastating.
You're doing it out of it.
Right now.
I just love that. I
The
just.
4 of them are in front of the judge, and the good Janet has escaped too. You'll never.
This is amazing. So basically, Michael says it doesn't matter what you do to me, because the 4 of them are in front of a judge, and you'll see that I was right. You see that they don't belong in the bad place. See, this is also why The Good Place is such a good show. In here, you feel that Michael, yes, he's closer to them, right? And ultimately, that friendship will lead him to choose Eleanor, Shitty, Tahani, and Jason all the time, right? But then, even then, if they weren't friends, he realized the right thing to do was to give them a judge. And if the judge rules that they were belong in a good place right away, he's a hero. He stopped people that wasn't supposed to get tortured from getting tortured, which is a noble act. So in this case, he's really justified, you know? And there you go. So we got the test, like I said, the tests. Super cool. Jason thought that he had to play with against the other team when he didn't have to. Tahani was supposed to go to the red door but not stop and listen to any door. She failed. Shitty was supposed to choose between 2 hats. All he had to do is not choose. He didn't have to choose. He didn't have to choose at all. So they fell, and like I said, Eleanor. Eleanor is the best test, but at the same time, Eleanor is that's a newlywed. The Eleanor is the main character, so it's normal that her test is a bit better. So you realize that Sean and Michael are going in. You realize that the bad Janet is actually a good Janet, and she betrays Sean, and she saved Michael. Now this is where it's the coolest. I'm telling you guys, I had shivers. I'm gonna be okay. So this is where I'm transparent. I remember this show as a great show. I watched a show, and I was like, what the fuck am I watching? No, actually, what the fuck am I watching? And because it's season 2, I'm like, okay, yeah, it's a good show. It is a good show. So next episode, baby, we got other projects. So how did the first episode end? I had to do the intro here because it is bad Janet, which is a good Janet, to help Michael get to the judge, right? And they helped it get to the judge, and to the judge, what they do is so technically speaking, the judge in itself is just a judge. You need a lawyer and you need Janet. So with lawyer and Janet, the real trial begins. Jared and Shitty, give me a sec. Janet and Shitty, there you go. Okay. Yeah, I read the intro because this one I don't remember much.
And now he's so much better.
I was already pretty good, and now we're.
There you go. There you go. So, Michael does the case. He's like, these guys are really good. Better. They made better. They're better. They're not perfect, but they're better. And then Maya's like, yeah, but I did a test. And he said, it's at one test cannot judge them. And Michael brings the ID to Maya, and this is one of the coolest ID. He says, okay, so technically speaking, this is an ID that's reproduced in season 4, and when they actually in a good place, because you have to go in the good place, and themselves they change, right? And the system for judging if a person is good is too hard because society has changed. Now, that's what they reproduce in season 4. For example, in season 4, they should go to the good place and they talk to people, and those people, you realize that they died at a very young age. There's one person that sacrificed herself for somebody else, but she was like 14. She didn't live her life, right? So the sacrifice in itself was a good sacrifice. However, it's a sacrifice where you're like, did you really enjoy your time on Earth? And her answer is no, you know? So it's kind of tough. And then they realize that the whole thing is flawed. See, the good place in itself as a meaning, are human flawed or the system is flawed? If the humans are flawed, they can change. If the system is flawed, whatever the human do, they're flawed themselves because they're victim of the system, victim of their entourage. We talk about this, and this is insane because you look at Eleanor, who was a victim of entourage. She had shitty parents, which made her go from a shitty kid to a shitty human, shitty adult that had to take care of herself because she was the only person she could trust in. That's why she's shitty. Understand? And this is kind of cool. So yeah, so she make it for everyone. Now again, what I don't like here is they do another for example, you get the final moments between Tahani and Eleanor. It's actually a really good scene because the last time we see Tahani and Eleanor together, only together, is when they tell that they love him and they watch this show. So it's kind of good to see the evolved version of the character that we love watching. We got Shitty and Jason, and at the same time you realize that Shitty and Jason are completely different people, so you don't really have a scene together. However, it's the guy that's the smartest. See, in itself, Jason is also an amazing character. I don't like him, it's an amazing character because Jason is a dumbass, and this is kind of cool because Shitty is a genius. And that genius actually leads him to be a good person. So he's like, okay, well, guess what? Because I know that this, and this will happen, I'll be a good person. Jason is a dumbass, but he's also kind, which is the same as nature versus nurture. Nurtured wise, she's a good person. Nature wise, Jason is a good person. So what do you choose? You choose the good person, which is by nature, or the good person that is consciously being kind. I had a talk with the shrink yesterday. She's a social worker, but she also has a background in shrink. And we were talking about my best version of myself, right? And I was talking about the best version of myself was the asshole when I was 22. She's like, okay, well, that's weird. She's like, why were you more honest? I was like, I didn't care about what people think about what I said. Nowadays, I don't want to hurt people, so I'm not going to do it on purpose, and I'm going to say things that I don't necessarily believe because I don't want to hurt them. You understand? So yeah. Should I get something to drink? You know what? We're gonna finish this episode, and then because we have 13, how much do we have left? Then I'm gonna be playing some Fortnite, watching the show, Resident Evil, watching the show, finish watching the show. So yeah, so this is season 12. I only have 2 episodes left. No. Damn. I thought we were way further. We're not way further. We're way before. Okay, so we got the 4. And what I don't like here is that it's goodbyes. I thought it was way further. I thought it was way 3, but no, I'm at well, this means that I have 25 episodes left, which means that I have 25 divided by 4 is 4 times 4, 16, 4 times 5, 20, 4 times 6, 24. There you go. So we have 6 hours left. 6 hours left! Okay, that's not bad. That is not bad. A bit more than 6 hours. There you go. So she does. They give her. That is so cool. That is so cool. So then the first. This episode is, I'm telling you, possibly my favorite episode so far from The Good Place, and we are at 26 episode or 25. With this, we mark the middle of the show. So Michael says, you know what? I'm gonna get you the trial, but it's gonna take some time. We're gonna give you a medium place in between. Now here's a problem: you can stay a million years behind, or you can stay a couple months behind. Now this is the coolest thing. Shady and Eleanor tell each other that they love each other. So they're like, okay, well, we just told each other we love you, and now we're gonna be in middle place that is gonna be separated. So why different middle place for everybody? Because everybody has a middle. For example, with Tahani, it should have a level of recognition, which is people will know who she is, but still her sister would be more popular, you know. So for Jason, it would be to have every snacks, but it's chicken wings. For Shitty, it would be a good life, but there's always a decision to be made. For Eleanor, well, it would be the life that she has right now. Yeah. So this is cool. This is really cool. So they decide, and then Michael has this idea. And this is super cool. So Michael goes with this Looney Tune ID, which is, you know what? They need a little push. If they had a chance to be a good person, they would be a good person. And then Josh is like, what do you mean? And it's like, you know what I mean? And then there's a funny thing because she said, this is Looney Tune. And you know why this is nice? Because literally, it's a nice, you know, it's a nice touch. Because this is a show that's a bit more mature, a bit more adult, and people that enjoy that possibly were old enough to watch Looney Tunes. But that's not it. So the idea is, what if they had a second chance in life? Would they still be the bad person, the wrong person? And it's like, what if that's a trial? So, for example, we go back, and this is why I love this episode so much. This is why, because we get Eleanor to be reborn, right? And how the episode is Eleanor being reborn, and this is super cool. So we go in, and Michael literally saved her. Michael saved her, and she's like, okay, well, I had a near-death experience. And because I had a near-death experience, I am a good person. But this is cool because this is the whole season 3. Well, I think. And I don't remember. But the whole episode 12 is Eleanor and her thing. She realized that her friends are kind of shitty because her friends are not... What should I call it? Her friends are not good people, right? Again, surrounded by bad people, you're a bad person. Are you a bad person if you're surrounded by bad people? You're a bad person because you make the conscious effort not to look for better friends that are going to make you a better person, and you're staying around with bad people. You may be better than them, but at the same time, you're not better than good people, which makes you a medium person. And if you choose mediocrity and you don't choose, it's a shame because your inaction choose. And this is the whole point. You are a better person than your friend because they're really shitty, but then you don't look for better friends, which means that you're a good person surrounded by bad people, because the second that you're in a group of good people, you're not a good person. So then you can make your choice to have better friends, but you have to make that choice, which is, again, is a shitty situation. So that's kind of cool. Huh? So she goes in, and Eleanor starts, she's like, okay, well, this is going to be really good. And what she says is, this last thing that she did was she became a shitty person to a very shitty person to a guy that was caring about the environment. And then what she did is she went to apologize for him, and she was like, oh, well, this is not enough. So she goes to her friend, and she decides how shitty they are. She cleans her room, and then she writes a post up like, yo, I'm gonna try to be a better person. So she's like, she goes in, she tells her boss that this is not a shame what they're doing. What they're doing is not okay. And this is kind of cool because the boss has a wire, and he said, I'm supposed to turn everybody in and gather if this ever against everybody against my own freedom. So this is kind of cool. So then she joins the environmental guy, which is super cool, and she becomes a good person. So what she does is she goes to help people, she becomes a better person. She helps the environment. She becomes vegetarian. Are you a better person if you're vegetarian than a... No, you're not. you're. There could be a case of if you're a better person if you're a vegetarian or not. I just don't believe in it. I just don't believe because everybody could be vegetarian. Doesn't. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is season 1. Again, if you make a choice to be a better person because you're vegetarian, then you're not doing it because you want to be a better. You're not doing it. Okay. So the action of being vegetarian would be. This is interesting as fuck. The action of being vegetarian. For why am I talking about this? Is because they make a big point out of it. That she's a vegetarian right now. So be a better person. What am I gonna say? Okay, if you're not eating animals because you want to be a better person, then you're not doing it for to become a better person. You're doing it for your motivation. Because your motivation isn't good, then you're not getting the points as per se. So it's complex. It's complex. So she goes in, and the cool thing is she spent 6 months after. At the beginning, we see her being super successful. Having people here, this is real nice. This is very nice. So then she goes in and she does the best thing. She goes in with her friends after a while and she said, "What have you become? We didn't see you in a while." And then they're talking and her best friend says, "Listen, you guys, I owe you so much. My life has been ruined by those shirts of shirt bitch, and you guys are still my friends." And then Eleanor's like, "Well, you know what? Not only did we sell those shirts, but we kept all the money." And she's like, "Fuck you. You're such a dick." So this is kind of cool. Eleanor also makes an accident, right? And it makes it. She has an accident with a parked car, and this is what's implied, right? So there's 2 things that are important here. Eleanor being much more happy because she's a good person, right? And Eleanor not being successful. So in the first, you see a brilliant Eleanor. She gives pamphlets that people care about her, right? And then she has an accident, and this guy sue her, and she's like, for damage. The guy wasn't inside; it was a parked car. And then she was like, people that are nice are sucker. People are walking over them. So she goes in with her friends, right? And it's super cool because we have Janet and Michael who are watching their score. So for example, the score is such a good concept. Such a good concept. It's such a good concept because what happened is they have this it's like a roll, right? And the roll will give you tickets. Every single time you did something, plus 1 point, minus 1 point, and then at the same time, you got multiple teams with Michael and Janet, and then Michael is watching Eleanor because he's her favorite, she's his favorite. So she's watching Eleanor, and he's like, oh my god, she's doing it. And then she sees all of it, and she's like, okay, well, she needs to push, and then Janet's like, no, you can't. The judge said, don't go there, don't influence, you're not allowed. And she said, who will know this, right? And again, this is kind of cool because this is Michael who is once more willing to sacrifice himself for Eleanor. He's willing to sacrifice himself for retirement just to help her get enough points to be in heaven, So then what he does is she goes to the bar and she gets drunk. And Michael will give her advice. And this is super cool because this is back to season 2. And the speech of the little voices who is consciousness. And she told Shitty that she was in love with him and it didn't work. And at the same time, those little voices are gone. Right, so she feels better. So he gives her that speech, and then she decides to be a good person at the same time. But the show of her stopping to be nice is good because she quits the environmental freaks. She goes back to selling under a new company, and this is fucking funny because it's a Ponzi scheme inside a Ponzi scheme, which is super funny. And she's like, "Oh, this is dicey," and the guy's like, "No, this is super dicey." So Michael tells her. And this is kind of cool because Michael, she's super nice to him. He's super nice to her. And she's like, and he pays for her drinks. And he's like, you don't owe me anything. And then he says the sentence, what do we owe each other? Now, the sentence of what do we owe each other is super important because you go on YouTube in the show and you have Shitty Aganoye. I don't know your name, I'm sorry, bro. You got Shitty speech, which is called what do we owe each other? So this is Michael pushing her towards Shitty. Now here's the thing, she's not pushing Shitty because Shitty is gonna help her. She's pushing Shitty because in every single try, the best version of Eleanor and Shitty became better version of themselves by being together. So she's pushing him to go. She's pushing her He's pushing her to go see him to become a better person, and Nora's able to give the respect back to Shitty, which is super, super, super cool. She watches 3 hours of Shitty speech on what do we owe each other. The 3 hours, and the title of the video is what do we owe each other, which is great. And then Michael did this in motion. And there you go, she's done the right thing. She does the right thing. It's so fucking good. Here we go. There you go. Such a good show. And they go for season 3. Now, I don't know what it is. I'm gonna be honest. I haven't watched season 3, so we're gonna be watching it right now. So why am I so in love with the show right now? Because the principle of if they were giving a chance on The Good Place. You see, The Good Place is building people that are nice, right? So in 2 seasons, you accomplish one thing. You prove that Eleanor, Tahani, Jason, and Chidi are good people, right? And then you realize that it's all pointless because they were not good people in their life. So all of this is meaningless. So then Michael give the idea of would he become a better person, and then it kind of makes the first 2 seasons pointless because all you matter about is if you do the right thing on the in real life. But then the results is amazing. It's amazing. So I'm gonna go. We have a lot to watch. We have 25 episodes more, which is 4 hours and 15 minutes. No. It's 6 hours and 15 minutes. So we'll be done by 6 o'clock tonight, and we'll have 8 hours to do. We'll be good. Oh, by the way, don't forget. After that, we're doing Brooklyn Nine-Nine. We're doing season 4, season 5, season 6. Love you guys. Take it easy. Peace. Again, last seconds, but we're gonna do it.